Welcome to episode 90, Country Study, Australia, Part 1, 5 Richest Australian Self-Made Billionaires. This is an outline of episode 90. Why study Australian self-made billionaires? Because the big picture can be very interesting. I have written 5 ebooks on country analysis. I chose Australia first, to be followed by India, Canada, Hong Kong, and Israel. I generally follow the 6W approach: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Let's begin. The richest self-made billionaire is Harry Triguboff. I have already covered him in video episode 22 and episode 23. Harry Triguboff was born in China to Jewish parents. He immigrated to Australia when he was 14. Nicknamed High-Rise Harry, he made his entire fortune in apartments in Australia. Education, Bachelor, University of Leeds.
Harry grew up in China with his Russian parents. His father was in textile.
I was in Australia, and I was a textile engineer. And I couldn't see any future for a textile engineer. And that was right. I don't think anybody made much out of it. So I was looking this, that, I was trying to do all kinds of things.
In 1963, he started small. He began construction of 2-story apartment buildings.
Blocks of land at $100 million a pop, you have to have money.
Yes, that's right. He paid $100 million outright for this block next to Sydney Airport in...
Within 3 years, property value went up 50%, making Harry Triguboff the richest man in Australia. Frank Lowy was born in Slovakia to a Jewish family. He immigrated first to Israel and then later to Australia. His company, Westfield, is a global real estate empire with shopping malls in the United States and in Europe. Education, high school or less.
He came from little but has given much to his adopted country.
Australia's Westfield Group has got the go-ahead. Construction is expected to begin immediately.
Westfield has opened the largest shopping centre in Europe.
Few Australians have a story as remarkable as our guest today.
Companion in the Order of Australia, Chairman of the Australian Football Federation, former Director of the Reserve Bank.
The wise and generous Frank Lowy.
I think the first 10 years of my arrival to Australia was very significant. From 52 to 62, I got married. I had 3 children. And of course, I have become a joint managing director of the then now Westfield Development Corporation. From 62, Westfield has grown in Australia so much that we have decided mid-70s we moved to America. The business grew in America that it became bigger than Australia.
Hugh Wing Mao was born in China. He made most of his fortune with a company called Shi Mao in China and Hong Kong before he immigrated to Australia. Education, high school or less. Lindsay Fox was born in Australia. He made his fortune in trucking, and about half of his business is outside Australia. Education, high school or less.
But the bigger companies are doing extremely well. Right across the board, I think we're more than holding our own. We're getting growth. When you look at the Australian population of 23 million people, and you consider the rest of Southeast Asia plus India is 3.4 billion people, we're in a situation where Australia represents 0.04% of the population in the region. So 20 odd years ago we ventured out into Southeast Asia and India, and today we employ 36,000 people in 11 of those economies. Those are the ones that are growing. Our business is growing with all of those customers who are all global customers that work in 4, 5, 6 of those specific economies. And in the next decade, our business outside of Australia will be bigger than our business in Australia.
Andrew Forrest was born in Perth, Australia. His grandfather and uncles were members of Parliament. He made his fortune in mining. Education, Bachelor, University of Western Australia.
Liam, it isn't bad. It's just tough. This is not a downturn which has been forced upon us by the market collapsing. What you see in the iron ore industry is a market which has been driven down by the majors. Let's pour as much product onto the market as we possibly can. I see all that. The investment bankers, the smart money sees all that.
The majors are driving Andrew Twiggy Forrest to the brink. As chairman of Fortescue Metals Group, the third largest iron ore producer in the country, he blames the top two, Rio Tinto and BHP, for irresponsibly increasing their production in a concerted effort to artificially push the price down and force junior competitors like his company out of business.
Well, if they think they can get rid of Fortescue, Liam, I would really question that wisdom.
What have I learned today? Many surprises. First, the richest, number 1, number 2, and number 3 are all immigrants. Second, about half of them made their fortune from outside Australia. Third, most of them have high school or less education. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your comments and questions below. My coming video will be Australia Part 2, data analysis. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.